Over the years, I've been training India's top professionals, CEOs, reputed families, successful couples. And what was surprising was that most of them did not know how important this one skill was in maintaining good emotional health, harmonious relationships, and also building self-esteem in children. And this skill is the skill of emotional regulation. Today, through a very simple example, I'm going to tell you why this skill is so important and what happens when it is missing in a human being. Let's take a very, very basic everyday example. Think of a child, 5 to 7 years old, who comes back from school and he's very upset because his favorite pencil box, a new one that his dad had gifted to him, was taken by a classmate and thrown and broken. Naturally, the child is very upset, and that student who did it was not even reprimanded by the teacher. The child is really, really angry, is crying, comes in and is eager to tell the mother what exactly happened. Now, how does the mother respond to this situation? Let's look at 3 different scenarios. Scenario number 1, the mother tells the child, "Oh, my darling, please don't cry. Don't worry, I'm going to get you another one. I know exactly where daddy ordered it from, but it breaks my heart to see you crying like this. Stop crying, honey, please." What is she doing? She's trying to fix the problem and dismissing the feeling of the child. Scenario number 2, the mother tells the child, "What is such a big deal? Why are you crying about something so small like a pencil box? In fact, you should have gone and dealt with him yourself if the teacher didn't say anything to him. In fact, you must have done something to upset that boy." She basically reprimands and rebukes the child. Scenario number 3, the mother tries to lecture the child about the situation. She says, "This is not really such a big deal. You shouldn't be so upset about it. Worse things used to happen to us when we were kids. We had this, that, and the other taken away from us, and we were still okay with it. Come on, chin up and smile, because this is life." What is the one thing that's common to all these 3 scenarios? In all 3, the negative emotion of the child was dismissed. The child was not allowed to express his anger. What is this going to encourage the child to do? To deny and suppress his own feelings, and that becomes a lifelong journey of emotional suppression. What would have been an appropriate response in this situation? Well, the mother also had the option of setting everything aside, taking 5 minutes to be with the boy, look him in the eye and tell him, "I understand why you're angry. That was your favorite pencil box and it meant so much to you. It must have been so upsetting to see somebody break it like that." And just stayed there for a few minutes. What she has done in the process is 3 things. First, she has named the feeling. The boy was angry and frustrated. She has accepted it as a valid emotion, and then she has allowed him to experience it. The beauty about any emotion, whether it's positive or negative, is that it takes our body only 90 seconds to experience it fully and come back to its original state of stability. However, sadly, this does not happen in most households because parents have their own intergenerational patterns of not being comfortable with their deep feelings. They're always trying to correct the child and fix the child's problems. So, as a result of this constant emotional invalidation that happens from childhood into adolescence, the child makes 3 unconscious decisions. The first one is the child tells himself, "People are not okay with my negative feelings. Let me not share them with anyone. In fact, let me store them away and not even accept them to myself." The second decision the child takes is, "Everybody knows better than me. What I think and feel does not really matter because I'm always lectured and told what to do and not to do. Let me always look outside for approval, validation, for solutions. I don't know what is happening and I need to ask others what to do." The third decision the child takes, which is probably the saddest, is the child feels unseen, unheard, and disapproved of very, very often. Now, the child does not understand this is coming from the parent's emotional wound. The child feels, there is something wrong with myself. I'm bad in some way. I'm unlovable. Now, when this child grows into an adult, he does not have the skills to handle stressful situations where he is experiencing anger, difficulty, sadness, frustration. He finds these emotions dangerous. And years of emotional suppression have already dysregulated his nervous system. What he ends up doing is resorting to the 3 primitive ways of responding to danger, which are flight, fight, and freeze. Some people choose the fight response. That means that they immediately get threatened by anything stressful and they react. They react strongly, they become aggressive, they become very defensive. The second response is the flight response. And these are the people who are completely conflict avoidant. They will run away from any stressful situation because they just can't handle it. And the third response, which I think is the saddest, is the freeze response, where a person completely numbs their emotions. And along with numbing their anger and sadness, they also numb their ability to feel joy and enthusiasm. In fact, many a times parents come to me and tell me that, my child is not feeling motivated to study hard. He's not feeling ambitious enough. Please do something. And then I tell them that, they need to restore their ability to regulate their emotions first in order to be able to feel that energy and enthusiasm and motivation to do well in life. Remember that wherever there are relationships, two people coming together, conflict is inevitable, and conflict is not really a bad word. It is when people don't have the skill to regulate their emotions that conflict becomes ugly and unpleasant, and then it damages relationships. The good news, though, is that the skill of emotional regulation can be learned at any age. And in the next episode, that's exactly what I'm going to teach you. So you better subscribe right now. And once you learn it, you'll be surprised how much your relationships improve, your success at work will be impacted, and so will your success in your social sphere.